This is the new Overlords Podcast, where we catch up on all things video games, which this week includes WoW Classic Hardcore, Sea of Stars, and even though I lied last week and we didn't talk about it, we'll try to talk about the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka, just our high-level, non-spoilery talk on that, and more. I always like saying and more. I am Jeff, a.k.a. Max the Gray, and with me is my co-host, Seema. Hello there, Seema.
Hey, Max, and it's not only Seema. There's more.
And more. There is Ken, a.k.a. Lars Gagnar from AIE and other things we've talked to before. Hello. Hi, Ken.
Greetings and salutations.
Lots of stuff going on this week, so why don't we dive right in?
Good news, everyone.
That is, I wonder if there's anybody that doesn't know what that audio drop-in is.
I think most people don't know what that audio drop-in is.
Yeah, so for anybody that doesn't know, ask your grandparents who played WoW back in the day.
Right.
Tell us.
Back in my day, there was a guy named Professor Putricide, and he used to say things like, "Good news, everyone, the slime is flowing again." All right, first up in the news. And the news, as we go through it, is really going to be focused on the things that we aren't playing. So there's just a few news things, headlines we wanted to talk about this week. I don't know if you guys heard about this one. I thought this was interesting. There was a little bit more drama because the game isn't out yet, and because people love drama, there's actually a couple bits of Starfield drama. There's more Starfield drama. Somebody leaked. In fact, the guy who leaked this got arrested, not for leaking, but because he also stole like 60 boxed copies out of a warehouse and was like posting pictures of him putting them in FedEx boxes and smoking weed while he was doing it, going, "Dudes, this game is so good." Like,
because why not? Great idea.
As one does when one is doing illegal things. Anyway,
we never should have said last week that it had gone gold, because now he knew there was something to steal.
Yeah. So that was one leak, and then there was another. I was this the same leak or another leak? But this one was someone also leaked video of exploring the planets. Remember, there's 1,000 planets in Starfield, and this one you explore the planets. You can walk and walk and walk, and it turns out you can't walk all the way around the planet. When you land your ship, it loads a map that's actually quite large, and you can walk 10 minutes in one direction, and you eventually get to the edge of the map that they've loaded, of the area that they've loaded. And then you need to go like back to your ship, and you could go to other places on the planet. You can pretty much explore the entire planet if you want to. You won't want to. But because they only load that map section, which even that section they load is about as big as all of Skyrim. But because there's an invisible wall that you get to at the end, there, people are blowing up on Twitter and, Reddit and every place else saying literally unplayable.
People upset on the internet.
Yeah.
Go figure.
I need to be able to circumnavigate the entire planet. And there are a couple games where you can do that. So I get that people might want that, or people might think that they want that, but you're never going to do it.
Unplayable.
You're gonna do it once maybe, or see how far you can go, but you're never gonna walk. Nobody walks around the entire planet in No Man's Sky where you can do it, and nobody walks around the entire planet, especially even though it's the best version of it in Star Citizen. One, because Star Citizen isn't a game yet, kind of. We'll talk about that on a future show.
I mean, if you could walk all the way around the planet, then they'd be complaining that it took too long.
Or that the planet wasn't
not long enough
to scale enough. I only sat at my PC with an auto walk for 17 months. And I got around the planet, and it should have been 3.5 years. So anyway, that drama, and then whatever. There was one other bit of drama. I don't know. But people are just making up drama because...
because there's a void, because it's not out yet.
Right, because it's not out yet.
And that's how the human psyche works.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It is a little more out than it was because all of the preloads are now live. I noticed today on Steam that the preload button went live, and I am currently preloading it on 3 devices, 2 that I'm taking to PAX, and then my main PC, which is not coming to PAX.
So one is your Steam Deck.
Yep.
And what else are you taking? A laptop? Are you taking
My laptop, which is actually right over here, which I use during the show. And that's not what we're recording on. And I've got another PC down here that we record on, and I've got the main PC upstairs. So yeah, I'll try it on the Steam Deck, and then I've got it on the laptop, which is actually a Surface Book Studio. It's a Surface Studio laptop. So it's relatively beefy. We'll see how I think it'll be fine. This one I wanted to ask you about, Lars. Diablo has a couple things going on. So they've got this event going on. They've got double XP going on. They've got patches going out. Are you paying attention to that at all? And how much you playing Diablo lately, or do you plan to?
When it launched, a lot of us were just going crazy on it because there really wasn't much to do. I did really enjoy it. I was cranking on it, but I haven't paid too much attention over the last few weeks, to be honest.
Yeah, I did not. Did you play the season?
No, I think I dropped off just before the season launched, and then there was just too many other things to do, and it dropped off the radar, but I do plan to roll back to it.
Yeah, I didn't play the season. I do plan on playing a future season, but I wasn't into the next season yet. So I was fine with taking a break at that point, and then once it sort of gets fresh again and fun again, I'll jump back into it. And
I'd never played the other two Diablos, or I might have downloaded it like the 5,000 other games I have on Steam that I've never played. This one was the first one I played. I really did enjoy it. I want to roll back to it. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, the thing that makes me want to play a season is because I was eager to play Diablo 4. In the months leading up to Diablo 4, I played the previous Diablo 3 season, and I really liked it. I really had a lot of fun. So I like that concept. So we'll see.
I think it's an interesting... I get having an XP buff, but having a gold buff is an interesting take to me. Yeah, it says all players will earn XP and gold at a 25% increase rate.
Oh.
Yeah,
well, log in again.
Gold is a tool in Diablo. It's a tool for respecking, and it's a tool for re-rolling your stats.
It doesn't really have an economy, right?
Well, it kind of does. You can trade with other players. There's no auction house. So there is a little bit of an economy because you can buy interesting weapons off of other players for ridiculous numbers of gold. But because it's a currency for the respecking and re-rolling, this kind of really makes sense. So I think it's really an appropriate buff. Here's one that you guys probably haven't played too much, but I have, and I'm actually really excited about is let me back up one.
New World.
Oh,
I thought you're having a brain fart. No, you're just looking for the...
I wanted to play the trailer. Yeah. So they
the
dropped a trailer today for the next expansion that they're putting out called Rise of the Angry Earth. And the trailer itself is amazingly beautiful. And that's my favorite thing about New World, is it's, to me, not aesthetically, but mechanically beautiful. The engine is excellent. The models, the textures, the colors, I think are excellent. Aesthetically, design-wise, you may not, that's subjective. But I think technically, it's really, the engine is really singing. This trailer, and it even tells a little bit of a story. It's probably not in-game, but in-game is actually pretty close to the graphics in this trailer. But the trailer is quite good and really exciting for New World players, because at the end, there's a reveal, and this is the story of this wolf and the player that the wolf was not this woman who's a angry god about to wipe out humanity, but the wolf and the human team up, and then the human rides the wolf. So New World has not had mounts since launch. It wasn't intended to. I mean, that was part of the original design. And now they're adding mounts to the game. That's what the reveal is.
That is a big deal.
Yeah.
That is a big deal.
And they're very cool looking. So there's 3 mounts that they show off at the end of the trailer. And I think it's horse, wolf, and lion. We'll see it here in just a second. But look, he gets on the wolf, and like they team up because they're both afraid of this angry earth goddess,
Cool.
whatever her deal is. Yeah, horse, cat, lion, and wolf. Oh, that just looks so cool. Anyway, I do want to talk about New World at some point and maybe show some of it off. I want to go back and play it again. I just haven't been playing it recently. It's more popular than people think.
It isn't every game though.
No, not necessarily. I think people think that Baldur's Gate is more popular than it is.
Maybe.
I think it's the opposite.
But, yeah.
But if you look at by the streams that are live in Twitch and the threads and the concurrent plays in Steam, New World is actually a very popular MMO. It's sort of third after WoW and Final Fantasy right now. And it's quite good. It is quite good. I always liked it, and I really liked it. I played it in their alphas and betas, and I played it at launch for a long time. I sort of fell off. The end game is kind of PvP-ish, so you can get bored by the end, but they keep adding more and more content. I think it will continue to evolve, and they're adding good stuff, and I think they're doing a good job with it. So
I was really interested in New World before it came out because of the engine and the look, and because the main picture they showed was like a conquistador type guy, and so it was like a different time period than normal sort of medieval based high fantasy. But by the time it actually came out, and the focus they were putting on PvP, and I got interested in the games, more interested in the games I was playing than I had been when I first saw the ads, that I just couldn't be bothered to try it because yes, they add a bunch of PvE, but they always wanted it to be a PvP game. Is kind of my take on it. So it kind of tarnished it for me.
if you ask any of the PvPers, they say almost the opposite. Yes, it was supposed to be PvP, and now they want it to be PvE, and it's too much PvE, blah, blah, blah.
Right, of course they do.
Yeah. All of the PvP is optional and opt-in only. So there's
Except for you just said the end game is kind of PvP-ish.
Well, the main activity of the end game, they only have like a few big end game dungeons so far, and not a lot of like raids yet. So the main thing that people do in the end game is they do the outpost rush and the wars. Those are zoned in. They're not out in the open world. You got to sort of enlist in them and be part of them.
But yeah, for me, if I'm going to play an MMO, it's not just to level up and then be done.
True.
And so,
although I do kind of do that.
I know you do. That's kind of a difference in how we approach MMOs between you and I. But
yeah,
and so New World to me isn't attractive because once I level,
what's next?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you can say that about any game. In some games, you don't even know what there is to do until you play it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I did want to mention in the news, and Lars, you said you haven't watched Ahsoka yet, have you?
So, no, I watch very little things.
At the very end, because we lied last week, I don't know if I didn't have it written in the notes or whatever, but I was like, we're going to talk about Ahsoka. We didn't.
we got to it. We had already talked so much, I think.
You didn't refer to Mr. Laptop.
But we will, at the end, talk a little bit about Seema and our first impressions of the first 2 episodes. Even though the 3rd episode came out last night, I've not watched it yet. I'll probably watch it in the hotel room at PAX this weekend. So that is coming. It is cool. We'll talk about it. Quick shout out. This podcast is, of course, brought to you by Alea Octa Est, our gaming community, which you can find at aie-guild.org. It's a broad gaming community. It's one of those big family-friendly gaming communities. Tons of major MMOs we have relatively big presence in, including World of Warcraft, including World of Warcraft Classic, and including World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore, which we'll definitely talk about soon, which Lars is leading up for us. But tons in Final Fantasy, ESO, smaller groups in Guild Wars and Lotro and STO, tons of SWTOR, of course, because that's where Seema and I spend our time. Definitely come and check us out if you're looking for a group that you want to play with. Chill, adult, family friendly, bring your kids type of place. AIE-guild.org. This podcast is also brought to you by all of you, everybody listening right now to the sound of my voice or watching us on video. So this is both on iTunes and Spotify. Stitcher is going away. That's a news item that we can sort of skip over, but Stitcher is shutting down as a podcast host. But we will still continue to be on iTunes and Spotify and our RSS feed at newoverlords.com. We're also on YouTube/newoverlords. Tons of people out there are also joining our Discord. We really appreciate that. newoverlords.com/Discord. It's been a challenge. It's an interesting journey for us to make this transition. I think we've got some people falling off that wanted only SWTOR content. We've got new people joining up. Anyone wants to sort of like help spread the word and tell your friends and family if they're looking for a game podcast to come check us out, that would be cool.
I told my students today.
Sweet.
Aw.
Sweet. That's excellent. Hello, students. Please jump in, ask us any questions, tell us what we should be playing. We want to hear about all of that too. In fact, I've got some threads up in our Discord where I'm asking that. What do you think I should go and play next? Because I play a lot of things. We all play a lot of things, and I think it is time for us to talk about what is on our personal gaming menus this week.
It looks like meat's back on our menu, boys.
No way. God, finally.
He gave it away. We've been playing Meat.
Yeah.
Meat Simulator. Meat.
There probably is more than one
Super
Meat Simulator.
Have you ever seen Super
Turn
Meat
off the
Boy?
filters in Steam, you'll probably find it.
Right.
Super Meat Boy is a platformer where you are a little block of meat. Have you ever played that game? That's from about 5-10 years ago. It's a really good game. It was very well rated at the time, but you're like a little block of meat that, like when you jump, you sort of like slap and stick to a wall. And yeah, look up Super Meat Boy.
People, there's just no end to the creativity out there.
Yeah, it's quite a good game. So that is not what we have been playing, though. What have we been playing, especially Lars? Tell me what you've been playing, number one, because that's the main reason we're here to talk about stuff today.
So a few things. I'm actually in WoW Classic Hardcore. There is now, I guess, 3 main flavors of World of Warcraft now. There is the retail live game that many are playing. I haven't been playing at all. There's the Classic reboot, which happened back in 2019, was it originally? Where that was fun, where we all joined, 4 years ago.
No, there's 4.
And-
There's 4
there's
flavors, but go on.
Well, there's 3 clients. So there's the WoW Classic, which I'm in game right now, but there's also a hardcore version of it, but it runs on the same client. It's just on different realms or servers.
Yep.
So,
And then there's
that's where
WoW
I'm in
Retail,
right now,
and then
I
there's
shouldn't be there.
There's
'cause I could die.
Classic. There's Wrath of the Lich King Classic. So those 2 are separate.
And then retail.
And then Hardcore Classic and Retail. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But the hardcore.
So you're
and
in
the
it right
classic
now?
are on the same client. I am. I just walked away to a safe place. Because
I was
it's a
going
bad
to
idea to
say,
get
you can't be. You can't.
I was killing some vile familiars in Durotar in the starting zone, and then I walked away because those are the only aggressive mobs in the area, and so I've walked away from that space.
One does
because,
not casually walk
you
into.
do not
Yeah.
go AFK
Right.
in WoW Classic Hardcore, because you come back to either death by some kobold, which apparently is the most common way of dying.
Is it?
That day.
I thought it was going to be Defias Pillager. That's what I read.
think that was in it, as well as kobolds in the human starting areas.
I did go AFK once when I was in hardcore. Actually, not even
to find
AFK.
that.
I just turned my head away, and I came back and
Alt tab
while
into another
familiar
window.
was
I haven't
beat
died
on my
yet.
head.
We
Nope,
have
me
a
either.
member who died. We did have a member who died. Actually, we were collecting the guild charter signatures, and I did want to shout out to the people who signed our guild charter, because it was Seema was actually first signature, then Max, Red Rum, Siroc, Voldhorn, Zual, Stormbringer, and then Lucy signed twice on 2 accounts. So that got our guild
sweet.
started. And one of the persons actually signed before they died, and they were worried about that their signature would drop off, but it didn't actually. We learned that they died before I was able to turn in the guild charter and create the guild.
I mean,
So we
and
had someone
speaking of,
die.
and they're in good company because there have been tens of thousands of
yeah.
people dying.
It was like 90,000 in the first
On-
24 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, here it
yes.
is. Yeah, this was 4 days ago. 90,000
Crazy.
deaths.
I'm logged in now and I have the death log plugin on this character. I run the hardcore plugin, which is a plugin created by the community that
Yeah.
was around the original kind of boot of hardcore classic cargos and a bunch of people. And so I run that plugin on one character, which kind of enforces a set of rules, which is what they call solo self-found, or SSF, where you can't use the mailbox, you can't interact, you can't trade with people, you can't use the auction house, you can't really do anything with anyone. And you should discourage other people helping you. You can't like avoid them helping you, and it happens often. But I'm going to do that on one character, on a priest, just for fun and to try it. But the other characters, I'm just playing the standard hardcore rule set, which is that if you die, whether it's by drowning or killed by kobold, there's no appeals. You're dead.
Or even
Right.
lag. Well,
Yeah, and lag. There was a streamer the other day. I think it was level 37 mage, and he died because of his internet went out suddenly in the house and died.
yeah,
Um,
I can totally see that with your internet going out. But whenever someone says I died to lag, I'm always like, did you though?
Did you
Yeah, right.
really? You went away to the microwave.
You were not paying attention.
We read it out loud, the disclaimer that they give you at when you create a character
I
on
saw that last week.
hardcore, which basically says if you die to lag, if you die because we took the server down, if you die because there's bugs in our software, no appeals. Do not ask us. You're dead.
No.
Permanent death.
Don't call us.
Don't.
There was actually 2 parts. I heard you reading that, Max. And the second part is about griefing, because one thing they've implemented in these server realms is a bunch of tools to avoid griefing, including leashing mobs and dragging mobs to people. But also, it explains you get a serious ban hammer if you're griefing other characters. So that's part of that warning as well.
Now, you said you're running the add-on. I started by running the add-on, and then
Yeah, I saw that.
because I don't plan on playing it long term, and I just wanted to make sure I was there. I've got a level 12 hunter now. I wanted to sign the guild charter. I didn't. Tell me about the pros and cons. I mean, so the pros are that you get sort of like listed in the Discord for this is a private community run initiative.
Right.
The cons are pretty strong. Why are you bothering?
It's just an extra challenge. So I find it kind of an interesting way to play, that you can't really get help. You can't use the auction house. A lot of people who originally started playing this and when they were booting up this kind of self-booted hardcore, was you realize, wow, those vendors actually sell weapons and armor that's useful.
Yeah.
And so we're buying from, and there's like guides and tips of here's your progression for your wand or your sword or whatever, and we recommend finding these vendors.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting, and I only want to do it on one character.
I totally get
But you're
the
right.
appeal.
There's no point in having installed unless you're going to do that challenge.
And then you have to really level past where you would
Yeah,
normally level to get to
you-
new zones and stuff.
Don't do orange quests or orange mobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's other things, Seema, like if on a hunter, and you'll notice this, Max, once you hit that 10 and you got the pet, nobody's hitting you. And
Right.
so your defense isn't getting leveled up. And then all of a sudden you do get hit and you're going to get smashed.
Yeah.
Because well, not even crit. What's the next one? The what did they call it? Where it's extra, like double damage?
Crush.
Crushing blow. And because your defense level's so low, it's like you're 5 levels behind your actual level, and these mobs at your level are crushing blowing you. So you got to think about leveling up your weapon skills and defense if you're especially a hunter.
Yeah. I did notice that. And I did notice as soon as I let a mob through and it started smacking me, my defense is going up. And I thought about all of that. I thought about leveling weapon skills back in the day. Used to go, there was certain mobs out in the world that were really good for that. You'd want to level up all your weapons, especially if you're switching weapon types.
Yep. If you see a hunter in Durotar just getting smacked on by scorpids, don't help him. He's just leveling up his defense.
Right.
Don't help people anyway.
Don't help people anyway.
Yeah, Max mentioned that the other day in Discord.
Oh, well, I did that too. I saw someone that had several mobs on them, and I thought, well, I can help by I'll at least pick off the totems because all these mobs were casting totems, and that was a bad decision.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did die, and then they're after me, and I'm like, no, run away. I was able to run away.
You
though. I
aggro
was
everything
already-
as soon as
I
they
was-
leash.
yeah,
Then
yeah.
everything comes back and pounds on you.
right.
And there's interesting tips and tricks like you learn if you want to pull a single mob in a group, you need to body pull them or use AoE to pull all of them so they don't chain, and then you can continue hitting the one as you're running away from them, and then the other ones eventually evade and take off. And
Yes, you get really. I remember this from playing vanilla at the first time around. Is you get really good at being able to like surgically pick
Yep.
something out, and there's like several methods for doing it.
Yeah. And then dungeons is an issue. I think we mentioned that in pre-show
Yeah.
of like one of our members said, hey, is anyone going to roll a warrior to tank? Or he just said a tank. And then I said, well, I'd be happy to level up my warrior because I'd be interested in jumping into a dungeon.
Yes, I
and
will
what
tank.
it's like.
What
If
do
you
you mean
die,
you'd be
you
happy
die,
to? I
whatever.
would not
I
be
was going
happy
to say
to.
I will tank for you as long as you only bring your throwaway characters.
Well, the trick is having a good healer, right?
I'm not.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys are being selfless about it and worrying about who you're going to kill. I'm worried about who's going to kill me.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not going in a
You don't have to be
dungeon with
faster
you.
than a
I
bear, just faster than your friends.
spend time leveling this up. I'm going to like kill myself going in here.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've been healing for so long.
Yeah.
I can heal. I mean, I have a million tricks for not getting aggro from healing. So I feel kind of like I know who, I know who to like die, and yeah.
Oh, look at this. I recorded this 2 days ago or a day ago, and I'm almost level 13. I should
See, that wolf looks just like the wolf in the New World trailer.
just
Wolf
like
needs a
it.
name.
Yeah. I mean, 1/100th of the polygons at most.
Right.
I mean, that other wolf, probably had like 1 million polygons. This one has like 7.
7.
So there you are coming out of the inn in Razor Hill. And then there's other things like don't go into caves. Or at least if you're going to go into a cave, you got to be clear on pulling all the way through to the end. And you probably want to have your Hearthstone available, just a hearth out at the end. Or towers, because there's this weird mechanic. I don't know if it's in Wrath or Retail, but the Z-axis doesn't matter. So as you're running down a tower and you're two floors below a mob, they're still hitting you because of the XY location.
That's crazy.
All sorts of weird
Yeah, I
stuff
would
you
not.
want to avoid.
Yeah. There's a lot, as you're playing, there's a lot of people in general chat saying, hey, anybody want to group up for XXX? Whether that's Ragefire Chasm, whether that's go kill this big mob that's whatever. I'm sure people are probably grouping up to kill Stitches in Silverpine or whatever that area is. And that's
I bet they're not.
But you would be surprised.
Why-
I'm reading
why
general
would-
chat
no,
and people
but
are
why
grouping up
would-
for everything. They're
Yes,
pugging.
but no, but listen to me, Max.
Okay.
Why Stitches?
Because it's like a big thing to go kill. I don't know. People are
No, it isn't. It really isn't.
Sure.
It's just a useless chance. He's not a quest target. He doesn't drop anything.
No, yeah, I don't know. I bet people are.
Sure.
I bet they aren't.
I've been killed by him many times, but
Yes,
Right.
but not in
hardcore.
yes, not in hard. I think people will be riding around him in hardcore.
And that comes up with add-ons. I know you mentioned
Yes.
add-ons in the
I was just going to
show
say
notes,
that.
Max. And so there's add-ons that you really kind of want to have, like unit scan, and then not just install that add-on. I just about freaked out because I heard a scorpion hitting something, but it's another player. You want to have it loaded with specific units. So just loading the plugin isn't enough. You need to like type in a bunch of, and you can just copy paste a
Yes.
script to say,
Well, the ones that you're
warn
interested
me
in.
when this guy's around me because
Right.
I will die.
Right.
That's really
Of
useful.
course, I mean, Stitches has his own warnings, but yeah.
Yeah, does he yell?
So,
He yells zone-wide announcements.
there's all those extra add-ons that you probably don't have installed for other versions or flavors of the game that you probably want to pay attention to for hardcore.
I was just showing off us signing the guild charter. I've got it in here. There we go.
Oh, nice. There I am by the tags.
Had it there. But yeah.
It was fun though.
Yeah, so it's nice to have the guild up and running, and there's people there, and it's rocking and rolling. And so when I don't have this hardcore plugin installed on my other characters, I have the death log one or whatever it's called. And so I keep getting pop-ups on my screen of when, someone died in Silverpine Forest to the sons of whatever elite mobs that run around there.
I think if
Fun
I
stuff.
play any more hardcore, I'm definitely gonna get that add-on because it sounds like endless.
Level 28 Hunter just died.
Oh, bummer.
Level
28.
2800?
F in chat.
Oh, Hunter 2800.
Yeah,
Stop.
level 28.
I just think that would be like endless amusement.
It's fun. Although apparently people are like punking it because the API, you can just send whatever chat, and someone supposedly a 61 level hunter died the other day.
Oh, well, that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's kind of sucks. But it's entertaining, that's for sure. And it makes you feel good that you're still alive.
Last thing.
I mean, I saw one character and his name was something 4. I'm like, I know what that means.
Yeah, I didn't name myself Lars Gagne the First, but I might go there once I die.
I've died 3 times. This is my 4th character.
Yep.
Anyway, you were going to say something. Jeff.
Lars just mentioned that he was playing on Linux mostly.
Oh, yeah.
How's that going?
Good. So I talked to my students about this because I am a computer scientist.
I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
Yeah, I know you are. And I've been using Linux since we installed it on floppies on Slackware back in the day of like 1993 or something. So it's been a long time, and I've watched the evolution of gaming on Linux. You would always have a dual boot, so you could boot into Windows to game, and the gaming availability and stability and performance has increased massively over the last 5 years, but especially since the Steam Deck came out.
Yeah.
Max is a Linux user with a Steam Deck.
Right. That's
so
what
everything I use runs. Classic, Pale, Hitman, or whatever it's called, World of Assassination now. Red Dead Redemption. I can play all those things.
The first game I got in trouble for playing was when I was in school, and it was on a Unix system.
On Unix, those MUDs.
Well, this was Tetris.
Oh, okay.
And it was making noise.
It gave you away. It ratted you out.
Yeah, but for some reason, I didn't catch on to that until the teacher was like, "Who's playing Tetris?"
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah. My students with loud mouse clicks in the back of my room, and I'm playing League of Legends.
Click, 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 click. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Throwing their keyboard across the room.
But it works well. So if anyone's interested in gaming on Linux, it works well. It's fine. And maybe it's just me stubborn, but my normal work environment is Linux, so I like being in Linux. I like.
Can you run a version of Linux on a Mac that would do what you're talking about with the game?
It's possible. I haven't done it for years, Seema, because I haven't had a Mac for about 6 or 7 years, but I would run it. I just find with my students, I like to push Linux so they learn a different operating system and the command line and everything else, although that's not necessary. And one reason I loved a Mac is because it's based on Unix.
Yeah.
It's got all that in the background available for. But yeah, it's possible. You can do a boot. You can install Linux on an old MacBook. Sure.
Cool.
Or it's fun.
And as you said, the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is Linux, and you can boot to desktop on the Steam Deck and install whatever you want. You don't have to only be running Steam things, which allows you to do some really interesting, weird, fun things like Xbox Game Pass, like the Blizzard launcher. I have not done that, but I've seen people that have done it, and it's all there. It's just Linux under the covers.
Yeah, I'd have to take a look at it. I need to make a purchase request and see if I can get a Steam.
You know what else runs on the Steam Deck? Star Wars: The Old Republic. This is a game relevant to our interest.
Yeah.
Nice segue.
I have been playing it quite a bit. We did get one news item that maybe we can start with, but then talk about what we're doing this week because it's kind of exciting, Total Galactic War. But the news item was from Joe Stramaglia, who is one of the cool devs that went over to Broadsword there. It was more of a post about the economy changes and a little bit of updates to the economy changes. It's great that they're continuing to update this. We talked about that they would continue to update it. The couple main things, so you can read the whole post. It's not all that big, but quick travel costs scaling by level. That made a lot of sense. That's something we called out. So when you're lower level and you have fewer credits, you just start the game and you want to quick travel. It's not costing you like all of your money. That's good. Trade mail fees driven off of median sales data.
I mean, this is the one I wanted to comment. This
Yeah.
is very ambitious, and I'm kind of curious to see how
Yeah.
this will work. But yeah,
And they said a
Yeah.
lot of that median sales data already exists and they're continuing to
yeah.
track it. I was worried when I read it at first because I thought it was median GTN data, like listing data, and then it would be manipulatable by players.
right.
Everything would be 1.5 billion credits because it would be 3 billion.
But it
and
does
1
say
credit.
specific sales.
Yeah. So it says sales, and if it works correctly, then it would be the median sales, the
Actual
resulting sales.
Transaction.
Still probably gameable a little bit if people really want to try to like post
Sell to
things and
themselves
then
on another account.
buy it from themselves, try to do it really quickly. But there's other people that'll snipe that out of you, so that's dangerous to do.
So yeah,
So we'll see.
I do think that's interesting. I had difficulty with the next two sub items there where they say some items will have their fees removed, but they don't say what kind of items. And yeah, select items have their fees removed, and then what are items that have not been traded on the GTN? They may have a fee, they may not have a fee. I didn't get those 2 bullet points.
I'm getting shades
right.
of memories of EVE Online markets.
I think this is basically they're saying they're going to wipe the slate clean. So if something hasn't been on the GTN for a long time and people aren't really trading it, they might just
Oh,
wipe
they're going to start
Remove the history.
Right.
remove the history, but they'll still have their fee. Well, it's
Sure.
weird.
No, it's
Where
not
they
going to
put it
have a
up-
fee. It'll start at zero. It'll start at zero
Right.
fee. And if people start trading and selling those items, then that median sales data will kick in.
Wow, this
Is
sounds
what I'm
complex.
reading out of that. Because then it enables the game to determine the appropriate fee value. So,
okay.
so going
especially
going
for
forward,
things that
it'll
are
kick
traded-
in. and
Low
it'll
level
adjust.
things that are traded a lot, like yeah, okay.
Mats or dies or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then the last part of it was they upped the GTN price cap up to 3 billion. It was 1 billion now, so it'll be up to 3 billion.
Billion.
I've kind of changed my philosophy about what I'm willing to pay credits for. Like I used to always prefer credits over cartel coins, but now I just recently bought something with cartel coins because I looked at the cost on the GTN and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to pay that.
Right. And now it'll be more than 1 billion.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see. What's your bet on the first item to actually be sold for 3 billion, not
Oh.
listed?
Hypercrate.
Hypercrate? Well, maybe. Yeah, no. Maybe, yeah. Hypercrates. You think hypercrates are at 3 billion? They still might be more than 3 billion. I know they're
Oh,
trying
I thought you were going to say over 1 billion. Because I think people feel that they understand the value of a hypercrate since
Yes.
they've been using hypercrates for currency for a while.
Yeah. That's a good one. I think that's a good bet. We've got things like the Zerka Cratomatic and some of the rare like weapons and stuff. We'll see. What have you been doing in game?
As a newbie for
Oh, yeah.
SWTOR, I find it confusing, or maybe because I'd like to optimize. There's options where you can buy with credits or buy with cartel coins, and I never know which one I should do.
Yeah. Just ask us because there
Yeah.
are some little tactics there.
Okay.
Right. It's I mean, if you've got the cartel coin sitting around from your subscription, then mostly it's just if it's on the GTN for a price that's more than you can
If
pay.
you want to buy a stronghold, buy it with cartel coins if you have the
That's a
cartel.
good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to increase your inventory, buy those with cartel
Yep.
coin. Yeah.
Right. Unlocks
Okay.
that will then stick with you when you stop subscribing.
Right.
And also that
Those
are
are really
account
good.
wide. Anything account wide.
Account wide is
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
thinking, as opposed
Yeah.
to
Yep.
character.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's Total
So I
Galactic War
spent-
Week.
Yeah. So I spent some time last week getting ready for Total Galactic War, which meant getting my mats in a row for crafting. But then I found, and I realized I'm going to be gone after today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put I guess I'll put my mats in the guild vault. But yeah, I wish right now in this moment, I wish I had a Steam Deck because I could at least log in
Right.
each day and do my Invasion Force and my Dark Project. But I did start a new character and get them in the guild last week because that's important for Total Galactic War that you do it the week before.
Yep.
As we all know.
It doesn't count. For
And-
people that aren't familiar, Total Galactic War is sort of like a guild challenge. You're getting
Yeah.
individual points for doing lots of things. There's like 30 different objectives that you could be doing. And then anything you're doing with a character in the guild counts toward the guild total. And then the guilds are competing against each other. And the Total Galactic War Week, there's tons of planets instead of just the 3 that the big guilds always win each week. Total Galactic War
Mhm.
Week, there's tons of planets. So we as a smaller guild, medium-sized guild, have a chance to
Right.
win, and we won lots of planets in these weeks before. So that's what we're doing.
Nice.
But as
And then on Republic side, or does that matter?
Yeah.
Or-
it does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
because it's a separate guild technically. So
Yeah.
we pick a side. We try to switch it up back and forth because we all play both sides. So we picked Republic this time because we picked Imperial last time. And as
Mm-hmm.
Seema said, your points don't count if you haven't been in the guild before the week starts.
Mhm.
And
They
that's-
don't count.
Avoid people stuffing their guilds for a week.
Yeah, they don't
right.
count for the guild. They would
Right.
still count for you.
Yeah,
But
your
you wouldn't-
personal target.
and
Sure.
you wouldn't get the guild rewards either.
Okay. I need to remember to log in more to my Republic characters.
If they're already in, they're in. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I actually need. So if I do any points on my Empire characters, it won't count because I'm in the wrong guild. So I
Right.
should be doing them on. Yeah. Okay.
So then this week I've been playing that character and leveling, and it's a Nautilin Shadow.
Is it named Will Smith's baby?
No,
oh no, I
it's
had
not.
that name on the server.
It's a character that I created that I'm planning to delete afterwards so that I can have a character slot available for the next Total Galactic War.
Yes.
This is my strategy now.
Right.
And I'm glad because her Leku, do they call him Leku when it's a Nautilin? Anyway, they clip in a bad way with the outfit that I put on her. So I'm glad that she's
Headed for
Like
a deletion.
headed for instead of me searching for an outfit that works better for her.
Headed for disintegration. No disintegrations.
And also her butt looks very big in the
Is that a problem?
yes. Yes. It's disturbing. But I did play through the Essalus because it's a conquest target as well as being, really good for XP
Oh, is
and
it?
everything else. Yeah.
A specific
when I-
target? Oh.
Yeah, yes, specifically the Essalus. So when I went from Tython on the way to Coruscant, usually I skip that story where they say, "You want to do it now?" And I'm like, "No, I want to go to Coruscant." But this time I went and did the Essalus and
Yeah.
saved a lot of people. I did not space that whole laboratory of dudes.
Yes. Oh, you did not? I always do the light side choices in there.
Yeah, I do too. Even though it means it takes longer to get through the Essalus, I still
Right.
do it.
I
Yeah.
also created a couple characters. I always have a couple level 9, level 10. You don't start gaining conquest points until level 10.
Level 2. Yeah.
Mm.
So I leveled them up and I actually created a new one and I had 2 other ones that were sitting there at level 10. I'll usually this one I leveled up to level 9.9 basically. And I leveled it up just by killing mobs on Tython. No quests at all because you
Mhm.
also get a lot of conquest points, especially for your story quests and for bonus missions and for leveling. So I went to 9.9. And then Tuesday morning, when the conquest started, I logged in, I jumped on that character, killed one more mob or whatever, got points for leveling to level 10, and then started playing through my class story to get my ship. And I was ready then that night and I think I was 28 by that night.
Yes.
Level 28 for our guild fun night where we all get together. In fact, we streamed that and had a lot of fun. That was last night, wasn't it? Wow.
Yep.
Days are flying by. Or not, whatever the case may be. So last night, we all got together as a guild. We do every Tuesday night, but it was very conquest focused. And that character is now level 35, I believe. 34, I think it's 34 or 35, which is the perfect level for what that character is supposed to be, which is a PvP character, a low-level PvP character, because that's level 10 to 44. And at 34 is when you get sort of your last big ability in that level range. So now my lightning madness sage, that's weird to say, because now you can put those imperial combat styles on your Republic characters. So my lightning madness sage, it's a madness sage, now has both of its dots, and it's got force speed and the shield and lightning storm. It's got all the right abilities, and I can perform pretty well in low-level PvP. My other sage, my other lightning sage is up there at about 42, 43, and I'm worried it's going to level out of the level range because you get experience every PvP match that you play. I'll have a backup. I've got a backup. But yeah, that's been fun. So I'm not going to clip it or save it, but if you want to see what our guild fun night looked like, it's up on our Twitch channel. You can look at the replay if you're interested. But it's not that big a deal. But it was fun. It's always fun on Tuesday night. You know what else was fun? I only played a little bit of, and I don't think have you guys heard of Sea of Stars?
No.
So this is super hot right now. It's an indie game. It's pixel art, turn-based RPG, sort of like that old school style turn-based RPG where you're controlling a couple little characters, 2, 3, 4 characters. And then once you get into combat, sort of like the JRPG style, as soon as you enter combat, then it's turn-based where you take turns and use your abilities. You do a little cross-healing. You sort of get a little bit of synergy between your abilities. It's super popular right now, especially amongst people that like indie games, because it looks really good. It's true to the genre. It's doing a great job, and it's an indie studio, and they've just been doing great. There's a free demo on Steam right now that you can play. The game just came out this week, though, so if you want to play the full game is also available. That's why it's cool and getting a lot of airtime, and why I played it. So I played most of the demo, and it's good. It's fun. I don't know if I'm going to play the whole thing all the way through, especially with everything else that's going on right now. But you pick one of the two main characters, either the blue-haired moon girl or the gold-haired sun boy, and then that's like the party leader. And so you sort of control that character. But then when you get into combat, any of the other characters that you've collected are there with you. And then you get into I went to this little dungeon, and you get a crystal, and you put the crystal on the pedestal, and it opens up a portal. And you go through that portal, and you get another crystal, a different color. And then you bring that back, and you got to move blocks around and fight little creatures. And so it's puzzly combat. It's relatively simple combat, but you do get items, and you do have food that you can eat during the combat to heal yourself up. And then you can upgrade your weapons and your abilities, but it's a little deceiving. It's very few items and weapons and abilities, but there's a good amount of strategy in terms of what you have each of your little characters do, what they sort of help each other with, who heals who or not, or does more damage. And you sort of have to puzzle out, because it's turn-based, then how to get through that fight and how to get through the dungeon. So it does well with that. And then it even adds a little bit of an action element to it. So if you're seeing in the combat, when you say, okay, I'm going to attack, if you hit the button, like the A button at the right time, once you jump into attack, I was playing on my Steam Deck. Then if you time your extra button pushes, once it executes whatever you told it to do, it can do something extra if you time it perfectly. So a little more actiony even while you're letting the turn auto execute itself. So yeah, if anyone was curious why that's popping up, Sea of Stars. They did a thing, and you could sort of see it here in even some of the video clips. I don't know if you guys saw it when it was going by, but it's dynamic lighting in the pixel. So it's a pixel art game, but they worked the render pipeline such that the models work with dynamic lighting. So that all of the shadows are dynamic, all of the lighting effects are dynamic. So it's sort of like Pixel Plus is what I'm thinking about it in terms of, and they've done a really good job with that to make it, yes, it's pixel art, but it's really striking. And you can, even if you're not familiar with what's going on, you might look at it and go, wow, this is like the best pixel art I've ever seen. And that's why, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
I mean, I've been planning out what snacks to take on my trip. I never once thought of Tomato Club.
You can only bring 10 snacks into each excursion. So keep that in mind, Seema.
Okay. I was only going to bring like 5 snacks. Maybe I'll double that.
Upper game.
You got to make sure and some snacks increase your mana and some snacks increase your health. And some snacks affect only you and some snacks affect your whole party. So are you bringing enough for the rest of the class, Seema?
I mean, that's like real life. Some snacks affect the whole party.
Yes.
Not in a good way.
Yeah. But it was fun. And I played it on my Steam Deck. So that was cool too. Especially since been warming up the Steam Deck to take on the road.
I Googled, can I play Star Wars The Old Republic on my iPad this morning? The act of desperation.
And what did it
The
say?
answer, it said no.
I bet there's no like cloud gaming hack to make it work. Probably not.
No.
I mean, the touch screen would be a real pain.
Right.
Even if you could get like a cloud
remote
gaming
desktop connection.
Right. Which I've actually done before. I've done a remote desktop into a machine running it on an iPhone, but you can't control it by touch.
No. Enough to log in to get your daily login reward or something.
Right.
But that's about it.
Yeah. One other just me thing. I guess maybe a couple of these just me things. Did you guys play anything else? I got two more. I got 2 more that I played. What else have you guys been playing and logging into? So.
Well, the big news for us who are playing the Wrath version of WoW is we are soon going to get account-wide mounts and pets, which is one of those like wish list things that I've been saying, and I can't believe it's happening.
Is it retroactive like the ones we have now? Oh, sweet.
Yeah. I mean, if it works like it did when we originally went to account one, you have to log in your characters, I think. It specifically said for heirlooms, which count for this. You have to log in the characters that have the heirlooms, and then they'll be added to the interface. But pets and mounts might be added automatically. I don't know.
More bonus for that long, strange trip that we did.
I know. Well,
Lucy almost has done.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Really?
Yeah.
She switched characters, so she needs to wait to Halloween.
So now we'll all have a 310 flying mount.
We'll have to help her when that comes around.
Yep. Yeah. So.
And random dungeon finder will drop as well.
And what the big thing is, though, is that nobody wanted to buy, or I didn't want to buy, and several other people didn't want to buy the multi-person mount, which is the Tundra Mammoth, because it's 16,000 gold, which is a lot even in Wrath gold. And then have it just be for one character.
Exactly.
They did say most mounts and pets, so I don't know what that means.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully my Violet Protodrake carries across.
Mostly.
Yeah.
They mostly come out at night. Mostly.
I'm trying to remember in retail if there's any that don't. Well, like you can't ride the paladin only mounts on your
Right.
non-paladin characters. So maybe that's
Okay.
referring to stuff like that. That would be good. That would be
Are
fun.
there still achievements that are character bound and maybe
Yes.
and so some kind of mount or pet that came with an achievement, I guess, would be
That
bound
might
to
be
that
the
character?
Violet Pododrake. Yeah.
No.
No, please no.
And
But
I s-
anyway, so yes, and I've been playing quite a bit of Wrath. I think I'm the only one right now, but
There's
that's
not a
fine with
lot
me.
when I log in daily to do my
Well, I've been playing
titanium
on
heart.
the Alliance side anyway because I like
Okay.
my gnomes running around, and I mean, yeah, I
It's
don't.
empty
and that's
too.
because
I
your
don't know
raid
what's
leader is down for the count, right?
right.
Yeah.
He broke several parts of his hand apparently, and it's
Ouch.
going to be a while before he can mouse
Use
again.
that MMO mouse.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
he's able to play Baldur's Gate though, so he's having some.
He's got a lot of hours in Baldur's Gate.
Well, because
Yeah,
it's turn-based and
yeah.
click
Yeah.
So he's not completely
gameless.
gameless, right? So
Yes.
there's been some other things he's been able to play, but just not the.
It's an
not
interesting discussion with some of them saying how, they're so accustomed to this MMO mouse with 423 buttons or whatever. And I'm just using a regular mouse and I have to pop the ball out once in a while to clean it.
I mean, I don't get
Pop the
the
ball
MMO
out.
mouse in general because
You don't actually have a ball in your mouse, do you?
it's like
I've got one.
they have 12 buttons, but they're all hit by your thumb. It's like how
Yeah.
my thumb
Yeah.
isn't.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't do
How does
that
that even
either.
work?
And my bias would probably he's going to need to adjust and switch his way of gaming.
I even have
Restrictions on his hand, but
4
that's
in
hard to
my
do.
on my Logitech mouse, and I don't even use those 4.
I've got multiples and I don't
So-
use them. So
I could this focus. It's not focusing it anyway. Logitech mouse.
I have.
but
Yeah, that's my mouse has two
And-
thumbs,
and
and I do
3
use them
more on
because
the
one
top.
of those is auto run
that
for
looks
me.
like my mouse. Yeah.
I need a big mouse because I've got a big claw.
I'm picturing these people with
Stumpy.
like additional like protrusions on their thumbs, so that when they rock it, they hit like just a button.
Well, when I
instead of
have
all the buttons.
used the extra buttons and I've assigned things to all 4 buttons and I'm like moving my thumb all around, I'll get like repetitive stress.
Yeah.
This tendon on the top of my thumb ends up kind of painful. So I don't like that.
This is probably a hilarious discussion for people who use those mice and use them very well. They're probably like going, "What's wrong with these
What's wrong
people?"
with you? Yeah, exactly. So Ice Crown Citadel is not in yet, is it? Isn't that coming soon too?
It's all. I mean, what I was just talking about, Pets and Mounts, is coming with the Ice Crown
With
Citadel.
Ice Crown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other cool thing that's coming with that is the 3. I don't know if you remember from olden times, but the 3 dungeons that came with Ice Crown Citadel, which are like a lot of people's favorite dungeons ever. So we're looking forward to those as well.
I do remember. I remember. Do you remember? I remember.
I do remember.
We talked about this last week. I see. We talked about this last week. I just wanted to mention it again because we will talk about it probably next week. The expedition isn't out yet. So No Man's Sky Echoes dropped, expanded, really cool expansion, brought a new race that you can talk to and interact with and do sort of little missions for. There's always only been 3 NPC races in the game. This is like a 4th, so this is a big deal after 7 years. And it brought the Pirate Dreadnought battles. I actually posted a digital short on our YouTube channel. Why did I say digital short? Of course it's digital. That's what they're called on Saturday Night Live, isn't it? I made a digital short.
That droid looks like a droid shaman to me.
It is. That's kind of their deal. And they have the staff, and you can, through doing missions with them, you can create and craft your own staff. And you can customize your character once you do enough missions with them to look like them too. So you get that sort of weird space shaman deal if you want. I haven't finished doing that, and because the expedition's not out, so the expedition is almost like a battle pass challenge mode, but they give you like 8 things to do in 5 different tiers, and you sort of do them in order, and they each build on the last, and you get things that sort of accelerate your path through the game. Like the first thing will like get you your ship, and the second thing will get you a freighter, and the third thing will get you, then it explains what you need to do to achieve the challenge. One of the best versions of a Battle Pass challenge mode season. I count that as my number 1 version of any of that in any game, No Man's Sky. There's one coming soon. It's not out yet. Our speculation, Corley and I were talking about it this morning. We're speculating that it's likely that they're stabilizing all of the bugs and putting out there was another hotfix that went out this morning. They're also on every single possible platform now. They're on Mac, they're on Switch, they're on Steam and Xbox. So because it's in all those places, it's a pain for them to fix all of the bugs that are platform specific, get all of those patches distributed in all of those places, because they all go through like approvals and checks and
Right.
PlayStation?
Especially with consoles. Especially with consoles.
I don't know if it's on probably on PlayStation. I don't know for sure. So. Anyway, so they're late in, maybe not late, maybe they're right on time and getting the expedition out, but it's not out yet. And I was hoping it would be out by now because I wanted to play it on the plane, the PAX West, but I won't be able to. And maybe I'll just start a new game save. What I might do, jump in our Discord. So Geek Freak, who's one of our guild friends and always hangs out in the chat room here, DM'd me and said, "Hey, I could never really get into No Man's Sky because it was a little opaque for me in just starting a new regular save, and it can be a little bit. The expeditions really walk you through the game much more, so I suggested that for 1. For 2, I said maybe I'll pick a Monday, and it won't be next Monday because I'll still be on the West Coast between San Francisco and Seattle.
West Coast.
But maybe in a couple weeks, we'll pick a day and I'll stream the expedition or some of the expeditions starting a save from scratch. I almost did it this past Monday, but Jeek wasn't available. I'll stream it and show it off and talk and walk through what it's like to sort of play No Man's Sky because I love it. It's one of my top 3 games, I would say, that I like. And I don't play it all the time. I'll like go in and out and go back to it when these updates come out, and they come out so often. They've had 25 updates in the last 7 years for free. Every single one of them's free.
Is it difficult to jump back into? And
no, well, not really.
Like some games are.
Not really, especially if you're playing the expeditions, because those start from 0. You create a new save, a new character, and they're designed for that.
A season.
Right. So it works perfectly for that. It's great.
Nice.
And I always play all the expeditions multiple times. I'll play it once just straight on through. I'll play it once on my Steam Deck. I'll play it once maybe in VR. This is my favorite VR game as well. And I'll start doing speed runs of the expedition then too. So anyway, great. I didn't mean to talk about it that much, but get in our Discord, and if you want to be in on that,
right.
And I'll make sure.
That was Max not really talking about
it was
something.
Max length.
We'll set up a time for us to maybe have that live stream night for No Man's Sky.
Sounds great. I'll watch.
You've been playing Palia lately, Seema?
I haven't really played Palia this week because I was Star Warsing it.
Yeah.
I'm still where I was last week, which is, I planted my wheat seeds.
Yeah, wheat?
Yeah, my wheat seed.
Wheaton? I not playing it too much, but log in probably at least once a day to manage the garden, and I have tons and tons of money now, and I'm going to go for dos commas at least. If not, you certainly can't get to tres commas in this game. They did add an update this week, and I did spend some time, and that's what I'm sort of showing on the screen here now. They added an event. This event is only going to last a month. They said the items will come back. They didn't say the event is recurring. I don't know why this event wouldn't be recurring, so it probably will be. But the game is still in beta, but it's performing as if it's a released game. They're a little slow on so the patch took them hours longer than they meant to this week, but still they got it done. And the events in the game, it opened up sort of a new little side zone. It reminds me a lot of Dark Moon Fair in WoW, but a smaller scaled down version of that. You get a little invitation to go there. It's timed. So everything in Palia is timed based on the clock. All the NPCs in the game, and there's only like 20 NPCs. They all have their own schedule, what they do during the day, where they go home. They walk to you can follow them walking to their little house and going in their house. And at night now, during this, which is 6 p.m. in-game time, and one day lasts an hour. So 6 p.m. to 3 a.m., you see all the little townspeople walk down to the fair in like a little parade, and they man the different booths, and you can go and talk to them. And then there's quests that they give you. There's a little currency to buy little stuffed animals to put in your house and shoot off fireworks and get little banners and a little special food that you can get.
Is there anything from this event that is like pre-launch unique? Like,
Special.
should I make a special
like FOMO? You're gonna
effort?
You have fear of missing out?
like FOMO items. Yeah.
They said specifically in their launch announcement that if you miss out, if you can't play it, and there's a little FAQ at the bottom, even this stuff will be around later. So it seems like they're trying to be very explicit that it's not. Don't worry about FOMO.
Okay.
Yeah. What kind of goodies can I get? I can't wait.
I like that. Yeah.
Will there be?
I got to log in now.
Yeah. Here. Oh no, I can't attend this month. Will Magi Market be back? Now, this is where they don't say that the market will necessarily be back, but they say if you have to miss Magi Market, don't be sad. Everything you can get from Magi Market will be available sometime in the future. While we can't share all the details just yet, just know that they won't be gone forever.
Yeah, but I mean, that can mean anything. Like
It
for
could.
BioWare, there's been they've said that, and it turned out it was, on a random vendor, and it came by once every 9 months, and
Or it could end up in a cash shop. I mean, this is a free-to-play game.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
now there are
Cash
things.
up. Yeah, I get that. I'm okay with that.
There
Mm-hmm.
are
Because if I really, really regret having something,
Then you'll drop cash on it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right.
and I do, if I play the game, then I want to support it.
Mm-hmm.
right. I haven't yet, and I've been meaning to. So I'm gonna have.
I
to
mean, I
pick
have
out.
some threshold,
So-
right? Like I haven't approached my threshold of I'm enjoying this game and I put enough time into it that I need to pay something.
So is it going to be completely free to play, or is there going to be subscriptions? Do we know anything
play.
about that yet?
They've said
Okay.
free to play 100% moving forward.
Wow.
No sub, and the shop that they have so far is all cosmetics.
And there's where I agree with Seema there is throwing some support is a good idea. I
Right.
do that for lots of projects.
you can see these people have little cats following them around. That's one of the things you get. You can't.
Mhm.
You don't buy that. It's mostly cosmetic outfits. That's all. That's the only thing in the cash shop so
Right.
far. You don't buy them with cash though. You buy them with Palia coins, and you have to buy Palia coins. So they have been criticized with saying, "Okay, I see your outfit costs 800 coins, but I can only buy 1,000 coins. You're a scam. Scam. You're scamming
Yeah,
me."
but that's the same in PlayStation coins for games and
Right.
stuff like that as well.
And we've talked about this in the past couple of weeks. A lot of game companies will do that, especially when they're multiple markets around the world, global markets. It's much easier for them to have 4 packs of coins and do the currency conversion once and not have to worry about currency conversions per item. Like it's very complicated.
That's how it is too if you buy
A
like
Starbucks card.
Right,
Then
exactly.
The amount of money sitting
Starbucks.
on.
Yeah,
cards.
gift cards. Yeah, exactly.
The cats,
Yeah.
though, when you buy a pack of coins, you buy your 1,000 coin pack or whatever, you get a cat.
Cool.
I was kind of waiting, and I meant to post in their Discord, and they watch their Discord pretty well. I want a dog. There's one dog in the game. His name is Tao, and the one hunter character, it's like his dog, and it follows him around. I want a dog. I mean, I like cats, and I'll take a cat, but I want
Nice.
I want Tao the dog or
I hear
a
ya.
dog.
I hear you.
So I was kind of waiting to throw money at them until they gave me a dog. So yeah, a little Palia from me this week as well. So the only thing left on our list that we'll get to at the end here is Ahsoka. Any other games though that you guys played that you want to shout out?
Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
If anyone doesn't have enough addictions in their life,
Yes.
They could, and they like word games. You can try Waffle, which
Oh yeah, you've
I
been talking about this.
still been playing tons and tons of Waffle, and it's basically like kind of like a 3D Wordle. And the way the letters are laid, you get some letters filled in for you, and they could be in the right place, the wrong place, or
I'm searching for it right now. Is it Waffle House? I don't
Nope.
think that's
No. And it's so when you're making guesses as to words, you can use your not only knowledge of how words are constructed, but also clues about, well, it's in the right place but the wrong position, but it could be in this word or that word because that's it right there. As you can see, they're up to number 586 daily waffles,
586.
and
Hmm.
you can play. They have an archive, and I'm somewhere in the 300s on the archive.
Yeah.
But you can, not on the daily, but in the archive you can replay them too. So there's two different ways. Like once you know what all the words are, there's still a strategy about how to make the moves because the
Right.
fewer the moves you make, the more stars you get.
Optimizing.
Sure. Okay. So the greens are right letter, right
Yeah.
place, but the
Mhm.
swaps are anywhere on the whole board. Is that the deal?
No. They're like, see how that gold E is in the middle?
Yeah.
That tells you that it's either in that top word or it's in that
Oh,
middle
vertical.
word.
Okay. So it's
Row
not like
or
it could
column.
go way over.
Yeah,
here. Okay.
right. So really all you know for sure about that top word horizontally is that the R and the T.
Right.
Okay.
There's
Like it might,
5
that
other
E,
places it could
y-
be.
that E might not even be in that word because
So you're
it could
probably
be in,
starting with the vertical and the middles.
right. With something like this that has very little clues based on placement, I would start looking for an H, right, to put under this T right here, because that's a really common combination of letters. Or see this Y, maybe an R to put in front of the Y or something, because this particular board doesn't give you a lot of positional clues yet.
Right.
I would probably like start here and think like this word. Oh, no, yeah, because all of these gold letters have to, well,
No.
the SIL have to be,
The SIL
S
part
and
is,
L.
okay,
that's right.
but not
Yeah.
necessarily the E
It-
could go up here and the T could go over
Right.
here. Okay, so it's not
Mhm.
tiles. Could
so
be.
Yes, I
not
am, yeah.
all the layouts are like this. This is kind of a bad layout because it's
Oh.
got 4 letters that could be in multiple words.
Got it.
So that's why the clues in this one are not telling you a lot.
Right.
Archive. So here we go.
Cool.
Yeah, it goes back to 2022. That's another one like that. Yeah, cool. This is a good shout out.
And it's really, I played on my phone, so it's like you
Oh,
can do
here I
it
see.
in the line at Starbucks.
Yeah.
When
Good to bring
you're,
up a game that we can play on a phone and not in front of the computer. Like
And
that.
that makes you want to eat waffles.
I
Sure.
did buy waffles last time I was at the grocery store. I don't know why, because I don't even like the ones that are in the freezer. But at least now, when someone says the word waffle, see, now this one is a really
Kayak.
clear.
This
Yeah.
has to be kayak, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how
if
do
you
I
drag the
it?
Y,
There's only 2
over,
yellows, so it has to
yeah,
be.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You drag the
Well, the
Y
A
over
could have
to
been
the,
somewhere else, but
True.
yeah,
the Y
right.
had to be there.
Right, and Ks are
Bravo.
really helpful because there's not a lot of K words in English because
Mm-hmm.
K is kind of an inherited consonant.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. What about you, Lars? Any other games you got going on?
A little bit of Valheim once in a while. I've been playing that.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. And what else? Baldur's Gate. Not
Oh,
too
yeah.
much. I have this thing where I always have to restart because I didn't like the way it went, and so I keep going back to beginning of scene 1 or the prologue actually. That and a little bit of PlayStation stuff. I like playing hockey on the PlayStation in a month, so getting excited about that.
Yeah, I'm still in Act 1 on Baldur's Gate, going through the Underdark.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's a good game.
I like it, and I'm trying to avoid the meta and doing everything the best way and just play the game and
Right.
enjoy the scenes.
Which is hard because you feel like,
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm not going to play it 15 times. I'm only going to play it once. And if I kind of want to see what happens with XYZ character and they
Yeah.
die, I'm gonna
Yeah,
save
There's
some.
definitely FOMO in that game just from
Yeah.
listening to you guys talk about it, because
Listen
you
to
could
Max talk about it especially.
every door you don't open, there might be something cool. You might have missed something.
Yeah,
Right.
I think you just play it. I'm gonna actually play
Yeah.
this next one on the easy level and just story mode and not worry so much about
That it
challenging
could
myself.
do that. But still, you can just make a wrong choice, and then somebody says, "Well, then fine, I'm leaving." Well, no.
Wait.
I need you around because
Or you have the
Shadowheart,
two
because your
companions that don't
guidance
like each
roles
other.
are like part of my strategy now. So get it back on over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I'm
But it's fun.
convinced that my new theory is that this game it's very good, but its main popularity is because it's a dating simulator, and it's a dating simulator that people can play without saying that they're playing a dating simulator.
It
Mhm.
might be. I don't know. I'm not interested, and you've said that as well.
Yeah.
It's a very
the FOMO is interesting.
it's a very complex dating simulator, if that's
There
what
you
it
go.
I
is.
don't think it's that complex.
And one of the patch notes said now that kissing will work properly for small people characters. So
Right, 'cause they
it's
had-
pretty important.
They had,
Okay,
like,
that's
these little
making some
Hobbit
amusing
characters
pictures.
and like the tall woman
Like, do their
characters,
The tall woman bends down to kiss the halfling.
and the halfling would like kiss her chest, which was awkward, but inappropriate in a
So
way
they
that
fixed
everyone
that in the
loved, of
patch.
course.
I was picturing like the halfling's lips like stretching way up.
no,
So
no, he just
that would be
basically
awkward.
sticks his face in her cleavage. Yeah, I feel like, and it's not, because I actually I looked at this I was looking at the posts on Reddit, and I feel like 50% of the posts are people, naked sex. Here's the sex thing about this character, and here's the naked picture of this character. It's not as much as that, but it is a lot. It is a
Well,
lot.
the reason I
graphics
said
off.
complex or complicated was not because of what I've heard about the relationships, but what I've heard about, combat and knowing your spells, and some of them you can only count once.
That part of the
and,
game is
There's
Yeah,
tons of strategy
right.
at D&D stuff. Yeah.
Right. Which you can't just do the romance stuff, right? You have to do the D&D stuff too.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can just be total murder hobo and all combat all the time.
Yeah, which I would almost prefer, but I'm trying not.
It
I'm not
sounds
going to
like
kill the
Max
tiefling
prefers.
children, but I
That's
least
why I
decided.
restarted the last time. I got in trouble with the tiefling children and I couldn't talk to anybody anymore.
Well, better than you going into the spoiler, but
And I swear I didn't
Going to the
I didn't
goblin
hit
camp and
anything.
saying-
I just found some secret place and went in to check it out and I got in trouble.
So there's an NPC in the goblin camp called Minithera, I think it is her name, and everybody likes Minithera. She's like drow or something, or she's got purple skin, and people. But she's bad. She's bad. Anyway, everybody wants like her in their party, and everybody wants to romance Minithera. So if you do that, you need to go and kill all of the tieflings and all of the tiefling children
Oh my goodness.
in order to get her, because she's on the bad side, and she's
Okay.
so this is very relatively early in Act 1. I know it's a little bit of a spoiler, but so yeah, there's a bunch of memes about romance with Minithera at what cost?
Yeah.
Piling up
It's
the
fun, though.
bodies. Not just the
It's like-
man tieflings, but the
Yeah,
women
I was gonna
tieflings and the
say.
children tieflings too.
It's like Anakin, yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like if Padme was in the middle of a goblin camp and evil.
Mhm.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate. Speaking of Star Wars and Star Wars media, we have a new Star Wars show. You watched it, Seema, did you not?
I did. I haven't seen episode 3 because it happened last night during our guild run.
Right. I have not seen episode 3 either, but I did see episodes 1 and 2. And as did you, we had a watch party last week. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
a watch party where everyone who had Disney Plus, we didn't do anything like, we didn't rebroadcast. So we had express written consent of the commissioner. We did not, or we failed to get express written consent of the commissioner. So we did not rebroadcast the broadcast. Everyone basically was in Discord doing a little bit of chat and voice, and everybody hit play in Disney Plus at the same time. But for our fun night, our guild fun night last week, we watched both of the first episodes, and it was good. I think it's very good. So you give your run. You give your high level review take, Seema, and then I'll do mine.
Okay. Well, first
We
of
don't
all,
poison the
I have
well.
to. I should point out that I haven't watched the series, The Clone Wars, or Rebels.
Sure. Neither
So,
have I all the way
so
through.
I was
only
coming
bits.
into this really fresh. I
Yeah.
have an idea of Ahsoka because she showed up in a Mandalorian episode, and because, of course, I've heard of her and seen like clips of her. But first thing is I really like Balin Skull, the bad guy, the
Yeah.
reverse Jedi or whatever you want to call him. I thought
Ray,
he was a
rest in peace.
fantastic character, and also Shin, his sidekick.
You
Yeah,
mean
you
Lana
keep showing
Beniko?
it. Yeah, Lana Beniko. Lana Beniko. If you don't play Star Wars: The Old Republic, she's a character in that, and she also has short blonde hair.
Very prominent character, Sith.
Yeah. I do want to cut my hair off with a knife, though, if it looks that good when you finish.
Oh yeah, well, it looks like a $150 salon job when you're done because you took one slash with a knife to cut your hair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do like
exactly.
that. I
These aren't
actually,
spoilers. This is all in the trailer. We're only showing the trailer here. We're only talking about stuff in there. But we might get a little bit spoilery. So
I did like it because it was. I want to say everyone says this. It was like Star Warsy, but it drew me into the story immediately, which I didn't expect because I thought, well, I don't really know all the backstories and blah 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 blah. But it totally worked for me as a story, even though I did have those big gaping holes in the backstory for me.
Yeah,
like no doubt I missed some references.
Yeah,
but not that I know about. I never felt myself saying, well, I don't care about this part, or well, I don't know what that is. It was just fine.
Yeah, you're right. I think they did a good job of that. It wasn't like you were missing a bunch of inside jokes that two friends were telling each other and you're feeling left out. Yeah. That part I think was good.
In the chat room, Forrest was just saying he can't imagine missing all those references. Well, I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like this was my first exposure to Chopper.
Right. It's and even if it's your first exposure to Chopper and, you know, him like digging around in his toolbox, you might not, that's like a very Chopper thing. And him waving his arms around, that's a very Chopper thing. It's still, I didn't need it explained. I didn't need to have seen all of the other series to be entertained by that. So it was good.
And I found out after the fact that he's voiced by Dave Filoni.
Yes, Chopper. And he's the most understandable droid.
Yes, he is.
Dave Filoni's not. He's not straying far from just like words like this.
Right.
Wow, that doesn't sound like boop beep boop bop.
So I recommend. I thought it was really fun to watch, and
I would also recommend. I think. Immediately, so I would definitely recommend because immediately I was very entertained. I had fun that whole night. I had fun us chatting back and forth.
Yep.
I thought it was presented well. As you said, I haven't watched a ton of Rebels or Clone Wars either, but I've watched enough of it that I knew who all these people were, but never felt like I was missing anything. I also didn't feel like they were telling and not showing. They were doing a lot more show, don't tell in a really good way. They were letting the story unfold. They didn't race through too much stuff. They let the characters breathe a little bit in these first 2 episodes. So I think you had to have 2 episodes. Otherwise, not enough would have happened. And you would have had to wait a week and you would have been, what is even going on? Why do I care? So that was good. There is plenty of, it feels very much like Clone Wars and Rebels, the animation come to life. So it's not Andor. It's definitely not Andor. If you're going in looking for Andor, you may be slightly disappointed. I love Andor, and Andor is spoiled.
Or if you go into Andor looking for this, you might be disappointed.
Yes, same way. They're very different, and I like that idea that there's these different content within the Star Wars universe now that different audiences with different tastes can consume. That's really cool. But yeah, I love Andor. This is not Andor. In fact, this is even more cartoony and Star Warsy than Mandalorian. I think. It's...
Well, because I don't remember watching the beginning of Mandalorian and saying things like, you know, when she slides under the the speeder there.
Yep.
And then, after that, they give her a pass. It's like, why? Because she did a thing?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And why? I mean, what was the point? That was an establishing shot to establish her character a little bit.
Right.
It reminded me of Maverick in Top Gun riding on the motorcycle. They also did that in Star Trek Beyond with Chris Pine riding his motorcycle. It was that very, here's the rogue out there riding their motorcycle.
Yeah.
There's other stuff where you really need to still suspend disbelief. Like you see it in this shot. There's droids that try to blow up Ahsoka, except they, for some reason, decide they're going to wait 90 seconds to set off their bombs. So
announce their self-destruct.
Yeah, they announce their self-destruction. They start you see the thermal detonators pop out of their chests, and then they're like 90, 89, 80. They don't say the countdown. She runs literally like a half a mile to a ship so she could do a fun, you see in the thing, she jumps off a cliff. Okay, fine.
I was totally okay with all that.
There's also,
I mean, to me, the self-destruct could be announced like that because maybe they're self-destructing in a ship of all their, comrades.
Right. Maybe it's right. There's also some lightsaber jankery going on. Good lightsaber fights. Someone gets stabbed, although you just saw it in the trailer, and doesn't die, which also is pretty obvious because they're in the trailer too. And there's a comedy. We put this in the Discord, and I put it on Twitter and all the social feeds. There's a comedy channel. There's a comedian in the UK who does the voices of Obi-Wan Kenobi, of Qui-Gon Jinn, and Anakin, and he does them with AI face swap. So he plays them and films himself of them watching Star Wars content and commenting on it. And there's this running joke where Qui-Gon Jinn keeps getting pissed off because people keep surviving lightsaber battles. And he was like the last person to ever die to a lightsaber.
Right.
In all Star Wars
everyone
media.
Everyone else always survives.
So the thumbnail I called it on Tuesday night that what's the guy's name? Charlie whatever, that he was going to have to do one of Qui-Gon calling BS. And that's the thumbnail. Qui-Gon Jinn looking at it going, bullshit. What is this? And Obi-Wan Kenobi having to convince him that his lightsaber damage was quite different because it got his gallbladder. And your gallbladder is quite important, Qui-Gon. You would have had to go through life. I could have saved you, but you would never have been able to eat cheese again. And Qui-Gon's like, yes, you're that, but fate worse than death. Oh, okay. So recommend watching that. Quite hilarious. You got to get past a couple of those Star Wars-y kinds of things going on here. The typical Star Wars MacGuffin of we got to find a thing to find a thing to find a thing is going on. But still fun. So as long as you're fine with that, fine with those things, this is fun, good Star Wars content. All of the actors, I think, are very good. They're all doing a good job. Rosario Dawson is doing great as a Jedi, not Jedi, which is what Ahsoka is at this point. The bad guys are doing really good as Sith, not Sith. They're fallen Jedi. They're not Sith. They're really good in what they're portraying. And as you said, Rey, who's Baylor, the main bad guy.
Baylan Skoll,
who passed away, and it will not be in
the
future
actor.
seasons.
The actor did.
The actor did. Which is quite sad because he is brilliant as well.
Yeah, he really is.
David Tennant is the voice of the droid, the other droid.
Yeah, not Chopper, but Yulang or Yuhang. Who's a famous droid? Like, I did read about him after the fact,
and practically a replica of the way he's modeled in the animated series in a good way. Very recognizable. You put them side by side, the picture of the animated version of the droid and the real
he's a
version.
very philosophical droid,
Yeah,
which I like.
he says that he basically worked in the Jedi Temple, taught Padawans to build their lightsabers. That's where he comes from.
So when he has there's a conversation he has with one of the characters where he's giving them advice, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting for a droid.
Right.
But I like it.
Yes. So cool. There's our Ahsoka rundown. Now you got it. We made up for last week of not skipping over it for whatever reason. Even though I put it in the title, I had to change the title afterwards when I was editing.
Right.
Because I led with, we're going to talk about Ahsoka, and then we didn't. I'm surprised no one, like the internet loves to do, I'm surprised no one got online and can typed up that we were lying. You're lying liars who lie. Everyone loves to do that with game companies in particular. I just saw somebody doing that. Did Todd Howard lie when he said we could do this on planets? No, children. I'm sorry. There's a hurricane. Disney World is closed. We can't go to Disney World today. You lied, Dad. I guess I did. Oh, sorry. Anyway, got it. Not rant. No ranting, right? No ranting.
We never said no ranting.
So Lars, Ken, thank you very much for coming on. This was really fun.
Yeah, it was great having you.
We want to have
thank you.
guests
It's a pleasure.
We've had you
Anytime.
on shows before, so I know this was not something new for you, but yeah, this was great.
No, anytime. Last minute, ahead of time, more or less, whatever.
I know you do other stuff online. In fact, you were streaming some WoW Classic. Is there a place you want to shout out to tell people that they should come find you or seek you out?
No, you could go to kenbauer.me and find out about me. I'm a professor in computer science and find out. I post a lot of stuff about educators and education.
Should they enroll in your university? And it's at Guadalajara.
Well, if that's always an option. I am the director of the cybersecurity program here, so maybe you want to register for that. But no, I do some posting, and I'm going to stream on my Ken Bauer gaming channel. I have a second YouTube channel, and I'm streaming stuff. If you're in the AIE Discord, down in the creators channel, I do post where I'm streaming there.
Excellent. And to everyone else,
thanks.
Thank you for joining us as well. Thank you, Seema, for joining me on this
you're most welcome.
179th time you've joined.
Ugh. Misspent youth.
And if you want to find us in the future, all the feed and subscribe links are on newoverlords.com, of course. newoverlords.com. Our video is YouTube/newoverlords. You can also come chat with us in our Discord, newoverlords.com/Discord. That's the best place to get it. We're also in all of the social media feeds. Look for Max the Gray or New Overlords on X, formerly known as Twitter, Mastodon, Blue Sky, and Threads, and Instagram and Facebook. All of those. And I put stuff out there relatively regularly these days on all of those. You can follow there. You'll know when things are going live. But as we said, Discord is usually the best. So thank you for coming and joining us. Let us know what else you'd like to hear from us in terms of what games you'd like to see. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.